So I'm here with Justine Leong, Managing Director, and Tara McKenty, Chief Creative Officer of AKQA. Thank you both very much for joining us. So you've both just finished wrapping up our CIO Innovation Summit with a talk on creative intelligence, where human imagination meets technology. Can you just summarize some key points that you wanted to get across to the audience?
Sure. I'll start.
Yeah, you start.
I think the main one was that technology and human imagination and intelligence is always an and. It's never an or. They always work together. And the work that we went through today was about exploring where authorship sits throughout all of the communications and experiences in the world. And we're seeing a real shift in where that sits in the work that we create out in the environment. So yeah, we wanted to sort of demonstrate the different ways in which authorship is diffusing across systems and data and into culture and customers. But at the end of the day, what was really important for us was to share that human imagination is always at its best. Technology is always at its best when it's with human imagination.
And probably the only other addition is, historically as brands and marketers, we broadcast and tell people what culture is and we define culture. And we have a massive influence in contextualizing that and historically have. And I think with the shift of technology now, we're able to change our interaction with our customers to a dialogue, which is really exciting. So we've moved from broadcast to conversation. And I think instead of dictating or telling people what culture is, we can start to have a conversation with people and co-create what we think culture is together. And when we've seen and created work for brands that do that and attitudinally have shifted the way that the creative process works and how they develop and build their comms, it's come with great success and builds trust faster with the consumers.
So AI and human creativity are often portrayed and perceived as being at loggerheads. Can you give us one or two real-world examples where you've seen human creativity and AI dovetailing to the greatest effect?
Absolutely. I'll give a local example, a project I worked on with Spark in Aotearoa years ago now. I think it's potentially 8 years old. And it was when image recognition and image APIs were just starting to surface and the true potential of what that could do. So, essentially in functionality and true form, technology was like, hey, now we can say what's in an image, right? It's like, okay, cool. But a human can say what's in an image. Like, why is that impressive? What does it add to humanity? But it took human creativity and different minds to look at that and be like, no, that actually has immense power and immense use case. So Creative Labs, which was part of Google in the US, created a prototype with one of Google's image recognition technology and APIs where you could take a picture of something and it would translate it into Spanish, which is, one of the world's biggest languages. But here in New Zealand, Te Reo Māori was at an all-time low. It isn't what it is now. The adoption of people trying to learn there was low because people felt intimidated. So we took that prototype and then we worked with iwi for 2 years in Spark, and we created an app called Kupu, which translates in Te Reo Māori into the word, where you could take a picture of anything and it would translate it into Te Reo Māori. It would give you the meaning, its origin, and other parts of the photograph as well. So it had multiple words. So it really was a way to contextualize and teach language in a way that had never been done before. So I think for me, that is an example where when technology and humanity, they're not at odds. When you bring them together and you accept it, you need the humanity to find the reason for that technology to exist, identify its utility, and then give it that purpose as well. So it's not just frivolous or tech for tech's sake. Like, what problem is it solving that is contextual to that time, that place, that market? And, what can it add in the world? And that's an example I bring up because, that took 2 years to build. We co-created that with community, which I'm incredibly proud of. And often, technology and advertising works at speed, and we slowed down because this was important. We wanted to do it right. And that is still a market. And Spark were advertising that up until for about 6 years that app served that brand.
What's the biggest misconception people have about AI replacing creatives?
That it can replace creativity.
Perfect.
Full
Thank
stop.
you. Okay, let's go to this. Well, let's talk about the future and what it holds. How and where can we expect to see human creativity and AI continue to develop from here and be applied in tandem?
Your turn.
I think it's a constant evolution. I think we're testing and learning every day. And I think what we're finding is that you can't have infrastructure and technology and use it in more interesting, new, progressive ways unless you have creativity. So I think everything we're experiencing in today's world is constant iteration. We spoke about it today that we are in today's world able to find insights faster that actually make things, bring it to action faster than ever before. So I think we're living in a world where we're actually able to create things and use our imagination in really wonderful ways that we've never been able to do before. But it's a constant iteration. It's constant testing. It's constant learning. It's constantly understanding how things work in the world and how customers are perceiving them and experiencing that. Because at the end of the day, we are trying to build things and create things that have some sort of emotional reaction. And that's where we're going to get the right level of engagement as well.
How do you reflect on this year's meeting, and can you each pick out a take home?
I would say that I think what we've seen throughout the conversations of innovation and infrastructure is that we need to be a lot more agile and a lot faster in how we approach things. We need to be nimble in a way that we are constantly iterating. I think gone are the days of long roadmaps, and we need to now live in a day where the infrastructure can shapeshift with the world and how fast culture is moving. So I think it's about how systems, tools, and infrastructure can adapt to the world we're currently living in.
I found the talk that was before us was really interesting. So the theme around fatigue and when people are having to work in constant change. And I think it's a really interesting topic for us to think about as leaders, because technology will continue to evolve and move at a pace that's unprecedented. So how do you find security and comfortability, and how do you make your team feel comfortable knowing that this is the new state? So never again will we see a pace that we've had historically. So how can we, I guess, reduce fatigue and make people feel comfortable in a world which is, ever changing?
We often say you've got to be comfortable with discomfort.
Yeah. And there was a funny saying too, again, at Google, which was the only constant thing at Google is change.
Fantastic. Thank you both very much. Thank you for sticking it out till the end.
Packing up around that.
Packing up around
That's
us.
a wrap.
Thank you.